Gillian,
I'm Michael Jai.
and welcome to LuvStrong.
Yes, we are back actually. This is something that we did a long time ago. And we were requested by so many people to start this up again. And we always planned to, but we never really got time to do that. But now we're doing it again.
We're back.
Yes. And this has been a big surprise to me, is that a lot of times where I'm thinking people are going to stop me talking, and start talking about martial arts and stuff, there'll be people that ask me about relationship stuff, just out of nowhere. Even some big tough guys or whatever. I'm thinking, yeah, they're going to talk about martial arts, and they ask me a relationship advice. And I thought, wow, these times are turning, and but
I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, I do.
That your expectations of someone, it would be martial arts, fitness, your action movies, but it's not. They want to know, relationship advice.
Yeah, so that's why we're here, and the great thing is, I mean, we want to do this. It's not about anything other than that. We've been blessed, and we want to share that blessing with other people. So so here we go. Now this thing, we're going to call this one the table. The table and what you bring to it.
What you bring to it.
Absolutely.
The most important thing.
Yeah, nowadays you hear about what people want, and people have their list, and the thing I want to encourage people to do is first think about themselves and what work they have to do, because if you don't work on yourself, how good are you going to be in a relationship? That is the main component. Now, I'm reminded of a story that I've told so many people, and so many people who know me has heard this story. It's a long time ago when I first came to L.A., and I was, hanging out with a buddy. He took me to this house party. And we got to this house party, and there was an argument that was already in swing, in full swing, and it was a women versus men argument. Now, the men were getting trounced by the time I got there, and these women just kept listing all the stuff that they want in a man or what they deserved. And nobody knew me from Jack, but I'm just listening, and I dared chime in. But these women were like, I want somebody who's got this, makes this much money. And, by the way, it's kind of weird because you hear it nowadays and it was just trending. So that's why I wanted to bring this up. But they said, I want a man that's got this, he's got a sense of humor, family value, all this stuff. And so I dared chime in because I just got wrapped up in it. And I said, excuse me. And I said, okay, say you got the guy that's got this kind of, paycheck, and he's this, and he's got these values, and he treats you nice and all that type of stuff, educated and everything. And I said, say you got that guy. Why would he want you? And everybody was like, oh. And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to diss. But the women act like I was really trying to be disrespectful. Yeah. But I said, no. I really want to know, what do you bring to the table? Why would that man want you? And the interesting thing is that I didn't get an answer. These women look like that was never asked of them, right? Someone was talking about what I got this, and I said, well, you're talking about your looks. There's other people that have looks. What do you bring? I said, I'll give you an example. Are you a good in conversation? Are you empathetic? Are you a good cook? Do you have a sense of humor? Are you a nurturing type of person? The things that make for a good relationship. Like, what about those things? And it kind of brought the whole mood to this somber place, because it got kind of deep, and it was kind of like they really hadn't thought about it.
Well, now you're making them think,
Yeah, that sometimes it doesn't dawn on folks what they're bringing. Like, what are you truly, in reality, going to bring? Yeah, of course, you want everything, and the moon and the stars, the soup and the salad, but why do you deserve that? It's not a disc. I'm asking everybody, why do you deserve it, right? And you need to answer that question, because you'll never be secure if somebody can bring what you're bringing easily. Why do they want you? but
Well, we get back to the list. You know, I mean, I'm on social media all the time, and I'm seeing different women talking about what they want in a man, and they want a good man who's fine and has money and a car and an education and a job, and the list goes on and on and on. And ladies, I'm like, there is nothing wrong with wanting what you want, but the thing is that sometimes you have to make adjustments. It's not about having this perfect person with everything on your list, because then sometimes it's hard to find a person like that. You'll be lonely for the rest of your life waiting to find someone who has all those check marks on your list. And like Mike said, it's not always about what the man has to offer. It's what you can bring too, because the thing is, it's about a team.
And so when we're talking about what you're bringing to the table, it really has to start with you. You know, what are you? Who are you? And what are you bringing?
Yeah, I mean,
that's an earthquake.
And that is what the good Lord is bringing us right now.
That was no joke. Right now, what time was it? What time was that? So you saw anybody on another coast, you just saw what an earthquake was. And we're going to find out probably in the next few minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know how long it's going to take, but what level earthquake that was.
Or it could be an aftershock, and we felt it.
Yeah, that felt like Godzilla just walked by.
But in seriousness, it's just that you have to have something that you bring. So you need to look at yourself and say, what do I have that brings something to the table? Because you don't want him bringing a plate and you bring a plate. You guys want the whole spread. Y'all want a whole Thanksgiving meal on that table. And it's going to be all those different plate characteristics and things about you that make you together as a team be amazing.
Yeah, so a lot of people look at this one half, my other half thing, to complete me, that kind of a thing. You should look at it as two wholes meeting. I'm a whole and this person's a whole. That sounds a little weird, but it's like a full person. Not I'm even though
two halves that come together.
Yeah, but and also. If anything, I would really encourage people to do is not try to think that you got to be perfect, right? A lot of people like to present this perfect package. Like they have no flaws. Let me tell you, your flaws are what makes you, what makes you unique and authentic. And if you hide your flaws, you're limiting the possibility of being loved for who you are. I'll say that again. If you are hiding your flaws, you keep a person from loving you, because we're more about our flaws than our attributes. To be honest with you, think about it. If I put my flaws out on Front Street, I can deal with them and get better from that. Okay, so that gives you a possibility of getting better, and you contribute more. So with this whole ego shit, it doesn't serve you. So even if somebody is saying things about you, and especially if more than one person is saying the same damn thing, you need to listen to that. Maybe you got some work to do. I don't know how people thought that they're perfect, that they don't have anything work to do.
Yeah, I've actually met people who've been like, "There's nothing wrong with me."
Yeah,
I'm like, come on now, you're a human being. There's something wrong with all of us. Mm-hmm. You just got to find it, not be delusional and act like you're perfect, you know what I mean? Yeah. And work on it, Yeah. Some people just need to do some go deep inside of them and dig out what their flaws are and realize it's okay to be flawed.
Yeah.
The point is to work on that.
I had to do a lot of self-work to make this happen, and I'm gonna be very honest with you. And we knew each other 28 years ago, and we lost track, and we got back together. And I knew I had a lot of work to do because she was just a better person than me. Now, I'm not saying that to gas her up. It's just the truth. I knew that since I was allowing a certain amount of bullshit in my life, I was not as honest as her. She doesn't lie. She doesn't, has never cheated on nobody. But me, I cheated on almost everybody I've ever been with, to be honest with you. And I used to go into relationships, and I had all these women just on deck. They were my friends. You can't get mad. These are just friends. They've been friends of mine for a long time, knowing good and damn well that they're cheering the destruction of my relationship. And I already got a cushion should things go wrong. That was just some bullshit I grew up with. I knew that if I kept having that bullshit to lean on, and the fact that I allowed myself to be maybe 90 to 95% authentic or whatever, and allowed 5 to 10% of bullshit in my life because I was a damn sight better than other people in my mind, that was like the license for me to sometimes lie, even lie by omission, and not be 100%. But I knew if I did any of that, I would destroy the possibility of this relationship because I would know I didn't deserve her, right? So I had to come correct 100% in every facet of my life because I got to look at myself in the mirror for the rest of my life. I could cheat and she never knows about it. Guess what? I would know about it. And how would I ever feel like I deserve this? To live in that kind of bullshit, I would sabotage the relationship because I know I don't deserve her. Now, me doing the work on myself, I damn sure deserve her. And she'd be crazy to leave me because ain't nobody will do for her like I do. I wish I knew this growing up, that if you have a relationship that has no bullshit in it and you come 100%, that every facet of our lives gets better every year. This is something I wish I knew. I wish I grew up with that. But that's something that I want to impart, and one of the reasons why I'm here. When people ask me, when they say, hey, how do you deal with these women coming at you in Hollywood or whatever? Are you kidding me? There ain't nothing a woman can do for me. I don't give a damn. On the real, this is my worst relationship, okay? This is my best relationship I've ever had before my marriage, and we are like here. There's no comparison between what I thought was my best relationship and what we have. And if you think for a second that that would ever happen in life for me again, it wouldn't have ever happened if I didn't do the self-work.
And speaking of work, like, I know a lot of us tend, and even some of our friends, we tend to think that there's nothing wrong with us, And the thing is, I think if you dig deep, you can always find something that's wrong. And how Mike had to do some self-work to be the man he needed to be for me, I need to do some work too. And mine came from, and I know a lot of ladies out here can, agree with me on this, is that sometimes we go through trauma in past relationships. We weren't treated right, or we got cheated on, or, lied to, just all these things that sometimes a lot of us women deal with in relationships. And a lot of those things hold us up from finding true happiness again. That was the work I had to do, because a previous relationship I was in, I had to deal with all those things. And so I was traumatized. I was like, I don't even want to deal with men anymore. I don't want to deal with anybody. I just was like, I'm going to just be good. I'm going to be home. I'll become a cat lady. I don't care what I do. I just don't want to deal with anybody because I was hurt. And that hurt put up a shield around me that I kind of had like a barrier. And so when Mike came back into my life, I held on to those insecurities, which made it very difficult in the beginning for us to fully blossom, because I was like, okay, I'm coming from cheating and lying and all kind of things, and I'm gonna get with this guy who is an actor, who's handsome and fitness and has his body and group and women love him. I'm like, why am I gonna put myself right back in that same position again? Like, I'd be stupid. But I had to realize the man he was and not compare him to anyone else that I dealt with in the past that did those things to me. And I've known Mike for a really long time. And although he said he had to do the work he had to do and how he was, I kind of knew the person he was. And so I gave myself that chance. I let down those walls and I opened myself up for love with him. And I'm so glad I did, because if I didn't, I would have missed out on this opportunity, because I actually was like, I'm good. Remember? I was like, I'm good. I was like, I don't want to do this, because I'm not trying to put myself back in the same position I was in the past. Like, that's just dumb. But, sometimes as women, we hold on to so much trauma. Sometimes you got to let that go, open that door again, and allow yourself to be loved and for you to love again, because you don't know what's out there for you. And if you have the walls up blocking all that positivity, it's going to bounce right back off and miss you.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's a tough thing to say, but you got to walk the tightrope without the net. Because if you walk the tightrope with the net and you fall, you never really, you're never really in danger. So, I mean, we all got to walk that tightrope. Of course, I had to be as vulnerable and give somebody the power to destroy me, right? But ultimately, I knew I would heal if the worst happened. And if somebody would dare leave somebody who's there for them 100%, all their whole heart and soul in it, well, how often are they going to ever get that opportunity again? You should always feel, and I tell a lot of women friends, that if you've given yourself wholeheartedly and somebody kind of traipsed on you, feel sorry for them, because they may never have that again. And you have the power that given with the right person, that's gonna be a big component in your happiness. So don't look at it. If somebody dogs you, you got to feel sorry for them. And it's not about revenge or anything else, because they're their own punishment.
And I know a lot of women can relate to this, because we all have been hurt. We've all dealt with some trauma in relationships, and that point where you just feel vulnerable. I like to say to women that even if you are going to open your heart again for someone else, you could possibly get hurt again. You could. But you got to not let that stop you. And I think that's what so many of us do. We let it stop us from ever being loved or loving again. And that's the key thing I want to, point I want to bring in this is, like, you got to keep trying, because there's something out there for you.
Yes. And the biggest thing about bringing something to the table is your authentic self. Okay. Now, we can't reiterate how important that is, to know who you are and know what work you have to do.
Because we all have work. We are human beings. We have flaws. So don't think you're perfect.
Yep. And so, like, our friends, we have a lot of friends, and some friends I say, and I'm always going to be honest. I'm always going to be honest. Until you work on that flaw of yours and realize you ain't perfect and start working on yourself, you ain't going to be happy with nobody, because you're miserable by your damn self.
You just gonna bring that into the next relationship.
Yeah, you're gonna drag somebody into that shit? Mm-hmm. So it really starts with yourself and being truthful, not what your Facebook followers are telling you, okay? Because they're gonna tell you, up is down and the moon is green or whatever if you say
anything to make you happy.
Yeah, so it's the reality versus, the fantasy.
Yeah.
And so, there's a lot of ego out there. All right. And if here's the one thing I always say, I've never seen a person with a big ego who was happy. I'm going to say it again.
Very true.
I've never seen a person with a big ego that was happy. It's not a coincidence.
No, it's not. I mean, ego is what gets people in trouble. Right?
Yeah.
It can ruin relationships. Ego's not a good thing.
Now, ego and pride is not the same damn thing. Don't get it twisted. Mm-hmm. Now, I can be prideful of what I got, and I know what I got and whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
It doesn't mean it's an ego. It's not the same thing. Ego is when somebody is like, really tripping that they have no work to be done. Mm-hmm. That they're beyond reproach. we're not talking about that, because that's one thing that in this relationship, we got no ego whatsoever.
Yeah, we don't have any ego.
And that's what makes it work. Because if anybody's doing something or has a standpoint from a place where they're protecting their ego, well, they're not dealing in the truth.
Yeah.
And if you're not dealing in the truth, you're gonna pay for it.
know?
Yeah, sometimes you hear me say that person needs some enemies because their friends are not being honest. I say that a lot because
a lot of times people surround themselves with people who will feed into that delusion. So.
Yeah, and on social media, you're going to find nothing but people that's going to, agree with whatever bullshit you tell yourself. And, know that. Because, your ego is still trying to worm your way out of it and do no work for yourself. And it just seems like, kind of terrible. Sometimes we're not on social media a lot, but sometimes we just look and go, oh my God, is the truth getting in this person's universe at all? And you could see people, I don't want to mention, that girl with the, but it's like, oh my God, like nobody's telling her what everybody sees.
Yeah.
Everybody sees this. And it's like, wow, but like what color is the sky in your world?
I just don't think it's good to feed into delusion. I think it's good to always be honest, because people need honesty. You know what I mean? Honesty, it goes both ways, because it helps you with your growth and being an honest person, being transparent about certain things, and it helps them to see something that they might be blinded to, and that to me is you got to have at least one person like that in your life, even if everybody else is feeding into the delusion of what whatever you're on. Having one good person, a good friend that just is like, hey, this is what it is, this is the real. It might hurt your feelings, but
or have a good enemy and listen to that enemy.
Yes.
Because that enemy is going to have a point.
I mean, I think that there's so many people out here now that all they care about is material things. Mm-hmm. It's like that's what makes up their life. And I call it and please don't get offended because I don't generalize everybody, but I call it the basketball player wives kind of mentality where, it's like these certain women, all they care about is their jewelry and their cars and the house they live in and the trips they get to go on with their girlfriends and, how many Louboutins they have in their closet. It's a little ridiculous because I think a lot of times I feel like people aren't truly happy. Like you're not really happy in your relationship. You're happy with what that person in your relationship is providing you with in terms of material things. And that's not what relationship and love is about. I mean, me personally, I'd rather be in love with someone and have someone love me and respect me and be considerate of me and put my needs, in front of theirs sometimes and vice versa, than buying me a new car or coming home with a diamond necklace or things that just, to me, are meaningless. They're nice. Don't get me wrong. Everybody likes nice things, but that's not what's important in a relationship. What's important in a relationship is how someone treats you and the time you invest and the time they invest in you. That's what's important. And I think too many women nowadays have that mentality. And I want to speak about men too, because men, on the other hand, they care about is what a woman looks like. Mm-hmm. It's like, can I get a woman with this badass body and this beautiful face and the long hair, or whatever their thing is. And a lot of times that's just his surface. Just because what someone looks like on the outside does not prove what's on the inside, and what's on the inside is the most important thing. I mean, I think that's why we connected so well because, I know with me, I've always been myself. I've had people from elementary school, middle school, high school, like, damn, Gillian, you're the same person you've always been. And I've never put my looks or what I do for a living or my body or any of those things in front of anything, because those things can come and go. But what's in here is what matters the most. And I think that's what makes me who I am, my characteristics, my morals, just the person I've become to be at this, state of my life.
Yeah. Really, success is happiness. Is it not? And we know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're from L.A. We're not from L.A., but we live in L.A.
I'm from LA.
In Pasadena though. But,
Yes,
so it's not quite the same. Not quite the same.
Pasadena.
But yeah. But anyway.
LA County.
Yeah, but we know too many unhappy, miserable ass millionaires.
Yes, we do.
Miserable ass
It
millionaires.
shows you that money isn't everything and it cannot buy happiness.
Not at all. And those miserable ass millionaires, some, I ain't gonna call nobody out, but a lot of them, they say, what is it, Mike? What is it? They they're like, everybody else. But it's sad because they bought into something that they thought that once they had money, all the other components come into play. Well, you are who you are. You are authentically you. So whatever your flaws are, when you get money and power, your flaws magnify. You become more, your flaws become worse. And more people are not going to call you on them.
And don't forget what it attracts.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to attract the wrong type of
people.
the fake friends, the fake women, because everybody's coming after your money and they really don't care about you.
Yep.
So it's not always, the thing you want to strive for in life.
Yeah, because I tell you, there's people that's flat broke that I'd rather have in my house and break bread with than these, millionaires or very famous people who are morally corrupt. I mean, they're not good people. You're a good person or not. Well, sometimes money can show how good of a person you are. And there's a lot of wonderful people with money. Yeah. But most of the times you don't even hear about them or when, because it's positive, nobody makes a big deal about it. But if they did something, terrible, well, that's on front page.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of wonderful people that are well paid, millionaires, successful, but more than likely, those people were people who did work on their damn self first.
And that's that's the most important thing. I mean, that's the whole point we're trying to drive is you have to work on yourself because so many people have so many flaws that they don't want to acknowledge. Yeah. And the thing is, it's okay to have flaws. We're human. We have flaws. And like I think you spoke on earlier, in terms of presenting yourself to someone from the very beginning. I mean, I can remember how many relationships I've been in the past where I try to assimilate into their lives. Like I try to become a person that I felt would be better for them and how their lifestyle. And it wasn't until Michael that I really felt like I could truly be myself. And I didn't have to put on any type of anything. I was myself. You accepted me, flaws and all, as I accepted you. But that's what I think is the missing chip in so many relationships because in that beginning stage, it's always a presentation. Yep. Always a presentation. You're going to put on your best face. You're going to be perfect with roses and candy and dates and on time and all these perfect things, right?
Yeah, you're representative.
You're representative to capture that person. But the thing is, you can only keep up that facade for so long.
Yeah, everybody's got like hours of wonderful dialogue and stories that they mastered and told everybody they dated to get them past a certain point before they show who they are. And let me tell you, one thing that shows who you are, pain, adversity. Like me as a trainer of, martial arts, and all that type of stuff, I find out who you are if I put you through some shit, right? There's going to be the students that when I'm going to give you 20 push-ups, now I'm going to give you 20 more. Now we're going to end up with 15 more. Now, nope. There's going to be people that's going to dig deep and try. Or there's some people going, shoot, you crazy. Or people, this hurts. You start finding out who they are. And guess what? It works both ways. You start finding out who you are. Are you the person that's going to dig deep and really get through this pain? Push through it? See, that's what the whole martial art thing is about, is to galvanize and strengthen somebody from within. It's not about just kicking somebody in the neck and everything else like that. It's about discipline, about you drive yourself, your will and intention. But but also what's connected is that you may not know who you are if you're not going through pain. This day and age, they've made life so much easier. You got so many fake friends to tell you you're right. And people, I was a school teacher when I saw all this everybody gets a trophy mentality. That now you got these grown-ups who's never dealt with adversity. And soon as they lose, because they weren't allowed to lose when they were in school on softball and, all this kind of stuff, now when they deal with loss, they can't deal with it. They're killing people because they can't deal with, rejection or what have you.
Being a loser.
Yeah. So yeah, it's so now I think it's incumbent on everybody that you got to kind of police yourself. And you got to put yourself through the stuff that society's not putting you through anymore, especially in this country, because, we're making some damn soft people. I just would want to encourage people, you got to be you 100%, because if you try to be like anybody else, you just committed suicide, basically. There's only one you. So, when I see these girls who all look the damn same.
Oh, boy. That's another topic.
It's like, okay, what are you bringing to the table?
Everybody goes to the same doctor.
I'm going to bring nose number 44 and butt number 3, and
it's like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, it's like Mrs. Potato Head things going on, and I'm like, okay, well, why this one and not this one?
Yeah.
And I seldom see people who are happy with that. But again, the name of this is The Table. This episode is The Table and what you bring to it. And this is about self-work, number one. Mm-hmm. If you don't do that, you're not going to be happy. Believe that. We both had to work on ourselves.
On ourselves.
Yeah. And just I think about the work that she had to do, Kat, who's almost never been faithful to anybody, but she had to trust me. So when something might have looked, shifty on my side, and she was doubting me, I had to accept all of that. I had to make up for it to show exactly that I was 100. And
he did a good job, I have to say. You did a good job, because there was a time when I really was like, I know you remember that time, and I was just like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And you said one thing to me, and it stuck with me, and I think that was what registered so much that made me go, if I go with how I'm feeling right now, I'm making a big mistake. And that was when you said, I let you go I lost you one time before. I'm not going to lose you again.
Yeah. So,
and the weight of that really kind of registered with me. It made me just kind of go, I got to give this a chance.
Yeah.
I got to give this a chance.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like the old R&B stuff on, I'm down on my bended knee type of thing, but my version. And, don't use my.
That wasn't good. That would have made a good lyric.
Yeah. No, but that.
Well, I lost you once.
Yeah, well, that's the truth, and we actually snuck it in the movie that's coming up. The movie that we just did. I actually,
you repeated that line.
Not only that line, it was a little bit more.
Yeah.
Basically, because in this movie that I wrote.
Yep.
Right. The characters get back together after not seeing each other in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And
which was us.
Yeah, so part of the dialogue is damn near exactly what I told her.
It kind of was.
And so, I'm like, the executive's like, y'all better not say shit, because I know this is a good line. but man, to trust somebody who's an actor, and there's every reason for her to run the other direction. Women, there's a possibility, but you gotta. I mean, people have gone through their trauma, and especially my sisters. I know y'all gone through a whole lot, but if you give the ex-man the power to destroy your possibility with the next man, you are actually giving that dude that don't deserve it too much power in your life going forward.
It's so true.
Look at it that way and be like, hell with this cat. I'm gonna move on. I know I could love unconditionally, and don't let that hinder what you could have. And let us be an example of that, because this is a total example. She had a lot to lose, and she stuck with her brother.
I stuck with you.
We got to a place where alone we shrugged our shoulders when we were, single, and said, well, it may not ever happen for me, and I'm gonna be all right with that. But I'm not gonna compromise any of my values just to be with someone else. And that was the best place to be to get where we are. Because, even though we knew we wanted this life together, we knew we wanted somebody and a family and, somebody who just, makes our world, to be honest, and I'll detour for a second. I'll say I never even knew this was even possible, honestly, because I had never seen a relationship like I have with her growing up. But, we knew that we wanted somebody to come home to, but again, not at the cost of our integrity, our beliefs, or anything like that, because we know that's just going to be a failed situation. And we weren't going to do things just for the sake of having a relationship. That's when we ended up getting the best relationship that we could have ever gotten. So I'd want to encourage you, even though you may want that, it's all about working on self first. A hard truth, I feel, is I have a lot of friends, and I know a number of people who did not or never see their flaws. And I feel sad for them, because I know unless they embrace those flaws and not take themselves that serious, they're never going to be happy with anyone else. So I speak from experience that working on yourself is the first component. It's all about the truth, folks.
It is. It's all a part of growth.
Yeah.
And this is bringing us back to what you bring to the table.
Yeah. So, you make sure that what you bring to the table is your authentic self, and let that be aligned with the truth. Mm-hmm. Don't fool yourself. You can never, any bullshit you're going to pay for in some way. So don't delude yourself. You never get away with it.
Well, so keep on working.
All right.
Instead of keep on trucking, keep on working.
She's not that old. Keep on trucking. I can't believe you said trucking.
You did tell everybody we've been together 28 years. But trucking, so, how old are we?
That's like, that's like my aunt's age. Trucking? Oh my God, you said that out loud.
Just so you guys know, and then we're going to end this, he likes to laugh at some of the terminology I use, like
I got to see your birth certificate.
Malarkey and Bulgadash.
Oh, gee. Okay. All right, let's cut this. All right, y'all. I'll catch y'all next time. Sometime.
Be strong in love.
Yes, LuvStrong, y'all.